If you ask my mother the answer to that first question, the answer was no for about 7 years. Went to uni, started a small business kind of out of the shed, and she kept asking me when I was going to get a real job. I don't necessarily agree with her now, but I'm going to take you on some of my kind of journey. But before I do, the word social entrepreneur was kind of mentioned there. A lot of people, when they think about entrepreneurship, they think about kind of tech startups, so I'm building the next app, making $1 million, and that's what entrepreneurs kind of do. It's broader than that. It's about finding solutions for people, making the world a better place. And that's something that I've always been passionate about since being a very, very young child. And I remember the very first kind of project I did when I was about 3 or 4 years of age. It was actually for my nana. And I remember she had this cupboard at her house, and this cupboard door used to keep swinging open. And the OCD in me knew there was something wrong with this. It wasn't right. And my nana had just gotten a rock out of the garden and parked in front of the door, and it kind of worked, but it used to bug the hell out of me. And every time I'd go to the house, I'd sit there and try to figure out and try to fix it for her. And when I finally got old enough to understand how magnets worked, I realised this little steel plate, the top screw had come out, and the plate just spun around 180 degrees, which meant this plate wasn't lining up with a magnet. So when I realised that, all I had to do was turn around and put a screw in it, and it was fixed. And God bless my nana, she reacted so phenomenally well to that. She was like, big hugs, and thank you so much. Like, in hindsight, now I'm a bit older, I realised she didn't really care. She was quite happy with that rock. But that feeling that I got was just absolutely amazing. And it's from that sort of moment on, I was like, I want to help people. Like, this is awesome. I just want to keep helping people. Fast forward on a few years from here, I actually started my first business when I was in year 6 of primary school. It was only a very small little business. I used to go to the supermarket after school on a Wednesday and buy 40 bags of lollies. And I'd go and walk the local industrial kind of estate near where I lived, and I would sell those bags for 50 cents more than I paid for them. So I would just keep hitting that pavement, keep knocking on doors, doing cute little kid smiles to the receptionist and that sort of stuff, until I had sold 40 bags. I just kept on going until I had none left. And that would make me $20 a week in year 6 of primary school, which was phenomenal. Like, I didn't come from a wealthy background or anything. I wasn't getting big pocket money, so $20 a week, that was huge. That was phenomenal. It was so easy, and that taught me a lot of lessons about entrepreneurship and business and inputs, outputs, and markups, and all those sort of real simple kind of business lessons. I don't know if I was really making that much of an improvement on people's lives, but it taught me a lot of lessons myself. Fast forward beyond kind of primary school, get into high school, and I had no idea what I wanted to do, absolutely none. And I remember walking into the career advisor's office in kind of year 10 or whatever it was. I remember being sat down at a computer and did this like multi-choice kind of question, and at the end of it pumped out that I should do engineering because I'm good at maths and physics and that sort of stuff. So that's what I put on my forms, and I enrolled in that UWA engineering, and that's where I ended up. I had no idea what engineering even was. It was a very linear process, but I kind of did that. Went to engineering, and at the time, like the thing that I was told, it's you kind of need maths and science to be an engineer, and there's lots of money in it. There's resource mining boom. You'll make lots of money. Like, sounds pretty cool. I'll do that. Without even knowing what it was. Fast forward, get into uni. I didn't really know what I was doing. I still struggle to explain what engineering is these days. But I got around into all the uni clubs and different programs, trying to find my passion, my purpose in life. And it wasn't until my 3rd year of my engineering degree. Yeah, there's a few drinking clubs here. It's not all study. And so it was in my 3rd year of my degree that something kind of clicked. I knew I was like a year away from graduating, going to get that job in the mining sector, out digging iron ore out of the ground, oil and gas, and making some company lots of money, making myself money. I was thinking, this is like, I've got to do projects as part of my degree. I'm going to do stuff that makes a difference in people's lives. No idea what, before I go get that real job. And I happened to ride my motorbike into a hospital car park. And this guy, Shane, wheeled himself over to me, and we started talking about motorbikes. He started giving me a lecture about riding motorbikes. They were dangerous. He was in a motorcycle accident, which left him in a wheelchair. But before that, he'd ridden on the farm since he was 3 or 4 years old. He was a national motocross champion for Australia. His whole life just revolved around motorbikes. And here I was, a spiky 19-year-old kid, that love motorbikes, a bit of redhead, you saw the motorsport thing there. And I was looking for my next uni project, and this guy said to me, if you had one wish, it'd be to ride again. I'm like, that'd be a pretty cool project. Building a motorbike, helping me out, get my degree, play around with motorbikes sounds pretty perfect to me as a 19-year-old boy in university engineering. So I took that on. The project was slightly bigger than my 13-week semester that I was allocated as a 0.25 FTE of the uni degree. It carried on for about 3 years from start to finish. But eventually successfully built this motorbike that could be ridden by paraplegics without using their legs. And all of a sudden, all these people with disabilities started approaching me and saying, oh, can you build me a motorbike? Or can you help me do this or do that? And then the entrepreneurial kind of brain in me started ticking off and going, hey, that feeling of that little kid fixing my nana's cupboard, I got those spine-tingling moments seeing paraplegics ride again. Why don't I use my engineering to help people with disabilities? So that's what I did. I set up a small little company, started off my garage at home. It slowly kind of grew and grew. It's been running for 15 years now. Worked on over 1,000 projects, helped over 10,000 people with disabilities, $1 million turnover. Been a fantastic journey, and it took a while to get to that kind of scale. And after about 5 years, my mum finally stopped asking me to get a real job. It helped when she became my first employee, doing my bookkeeping and everything else, and I started employing other people. So that was a real fantastic journey for me into a sense of purpose and place where I just loved what I was doing. It wasn't just about something I was good at in terms of engineering, it's something I loved and had that passion and energy for. I feel like I never worked a day in my life. I just was doing my hobby. Like, it's the sort of thing I was doing in my garage for fun because it was a good thing to do. Fast forward, this organisation ended up getting acquired by a group called Ability Centre. 2015, I worked there for about 18 months underneath their management. And the entrepreneur in me decided I didn't like taking orders from other people. So I decided to basically step out into a completely unknown world again. Back in those days of kind of year 10 going, what am I going to do with my life? I have no idea. Do I stay in disability? Do I stay in engineering? Do I stay in kind of charity? I have no freaking idea. I'm sure you guys hear this every day in your jobs. So I went back in this kind of place of kind of reflection. I took about 6 months just kind of being a stay-at-home dad and just thinking about where do I want to go. And where I've ended up landing now is not in disability at all, completely different side of the world. Now working in recycling. Here in WA, our plastic bottles, PET, we have zero reprocessing. So any plastic bottles you put in your recycling bin at home, 99% of them end up in waste incinerators in China and Indonesia, getting burnt and turned into pollution. It's forecast by 2050, there's going to be more plastic in our oceans than fish. 2050, 33 years away. So those kids you work in there, by the time your age, or a bit sooner for some of you, more plastic in our oceans than fish. Absolutely devastating. So again, I'm kind of using my entrepreneurial kind of hat to kind of work towards tackling this problem. So we're setting up a reprocessing plant here in East Perth, and the first product we're making is 3D printer filament, so high school students can actually print stuff on their printers in their STEM classes out of recycled bottles, so every school in Australia can become a reprocessing plant for plastic bottles. So that's my next entrepreneurial venture that I'm working on in my spare time. And on top of that, I'm also now the CEO of a program called Bloom, which is about supporting the next generation of entrepreneurs. So similar to when I started the Dream Fit when I was a 19-year-old kind of uni student, we now have 45 young people working on all sorts of enterprises and businesses and all sorts of stuff. So that's my kind of day job, is just supporting our next generation of entrepreneurs, our next generation of uni students and high school students who've got that entrepreneurial edge, and just help them take their ventures from their dreams, their ideas into reality. So I've had a little bit of experience with entrepreneurship, been around for a while, and I've noticed with all the kind of people that end up being successful, there's 3 common traits. Who wants to know what they are? A few? The rest of you that don't know, you can go home, that's what we're talking about. In a nutshell, there's 3 things. There's a purpose, an action, and resilience. I'm going to talk about each one of those just for a little bit, and then we'll wrap up with hopefully lots of questions, because I like them more because I know the stuff already. So the purpose side of things. I touched on it earlier in my kind of talk about having that something you love, something you're passionate about. And this is kind of, if I imagine that careers pathway that I went through, my career advisor was like, what are you good at? You're good at engineering maths, you're going to get paid for it, that's your job, go do it, be an engineer. They kind of left off this kind of whole half of the spectrum. So this is like that place of kind of working in purpose, when you're working for something bigger than yourself, you've got a big problem or something that really kind of matters in this world. And that's exciting. And I guess I see a lot of like the entrepreneurs that come through Bloom who are just thinking about money and they haven't yet found their person. They're the ones that go, gets a bit tough and they end up folding and going elsewhere because they don't have that kind of drive, they don't have that passion for it. If you don't love what you do, it's so easy to just kind of fall over at the first hurdle. So I've been talking about this sort of stuff for years. I literally, that diagram came up in my LinkedIn like a week ago, and I was like thinking about this seminar today, and I go, this is kind of what I've been preaching for years to lots of young people, like, don't just go and chase the money. Go and chase something that you care about. Like, life is so much more fun if you're doing something you love. Like, you're not working then, you're just doing something you enjoy. And then, because you enjoy it, you work harder and you get better at it. So it's a self-fulfilling kind of loop. I feel pretty fortunate to have lived in this world for pretty much my entire kind of professional kind of life. And I suppose you meet a lot of adults that kind of get jealous of me because they got stuck in this kind of zone down here. So I think our young people are in a fantastic opportunity to start directing their futures into a career that they absolutely love, and it's not just a career, it's a passion. So that's my first bit of wisdom around purpose. Action. Again, I get a lot of young people that have this kind of area of passion, or this is something I want to get involved in, and they talk about it and they don't know how to get started. Like, you've got to go beyond. Like, I talk about people wanting to create a foundation, helping homeless people or whatever, and I think about what's the legal structure, fundraising, all this other stuff. Just go down to the street, find some homeless person, and go, what help do you need? How can I help you? And help one person. Do action, like, get started. And that kind of rolls on to the next thing, like, don't wait for all the solutions to be present. Like, if we waited to like leave for this seminar today when all the traffic lights were green, we'd never leave home. Same as entrepreneurship. I don't know all the solutions yet about how the hell we're going to recycle all this plastic for Perth. But we're starting. I'm starting to collect bottles. I don't even have all the plant yet. I'm building a shredder now just to keep up. I haven't got the rest of it, but I'm just getting started. I can't wait until all the answers are there, because until I start, I'm not even going to find some of the problems until we start. So that's a big thing for these young guys who've got in our area. Just find something you can do today. Not week, not a month, not once you finish uni. Start now. Like, just, it doesn't have to be small. You know, Dreamfit didn't start as $1 million kind of charity week one. I started in my shed, helping one person with one project. And then just organically kind of grew from there. And resilience. Like, entrepreneurship is not easy. Starting up your own business is not easy. If people think this is the easy path, they're kidding themselves. Tell them to go get a job where they can work 9 to 5 and turn off at 5 o'clock, go home and do all that sort of stuff. It's a real challenge. It just battles the whole way. Like, if you don't get paid for the first 5 years, you've got to do it for the love, you've got to find ways, you're eating 2-minute noodles for a long time and not eating out and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of sacrifices to be made when you go down this entrepreneurship path. It's not this success. You see the overnight successes, they often take 10 years before they had that overnight. So there's a lot of hard work there. And I don't know if you can read these at the back. Like, some of our most successful people had knockbacks along the way. When I first started with this idea of building a motorbike for a paraplegic, I first of all started contacting all the motorbike companies that I could find. So I've met this guy, I've got this idea, will you sponsor me to do this project? Apparently it's bad PR for a motorbike company to be associated with people who break their backs in motorcycle accidents. Go figure. So I couldn't get any help for them. Then I started going to the disability sector, and so I've met this guy with disabilities, got this dream, I help him, like, you guys are about helping people with disability, can you help me help him? No, we've got no money, we're broke, it's too dangerous, right, all the excuses on the side. Couldn't get any support out of the disability sector. So then I started just going to local businesses, trying to get them to donate the parts that I needed to build the motorbike. And after over 200 rejections, I had my first yes. So I had 199 plus opportunities to quit. Had I quit at any one of those gates, I would have never created Dreamfit and helped those tens of thousands of people, had I quit. So yeah, that's that saying, winners never quit and quitters never win, which I think is a real interesting thing. It is challenging. Entrepreneurship, you face challenges all the way through. Michael Jordan got dropped from his high school basketball team. Like, imagine if he quit basketball because he had one setback, like how different his life would be. Dr. Seuss, he was lucky, he only had 27 publishers before he got a publisher on board, so he only had 27 rejections. There's so many amazing stories like that. Some of the biggest musicians and artists of our world have had so many knockbacks. You don't get yes straight away. And that's why I love that saying, like, every time you do get a knockback, it's kind of, maybe it's not quite right, find another pathway, just keep going. My recycling plant now, up to about 70 rejections one way or another. I now have a track record in business, and it's still freaking hard. Like, it's even harder than a high school student or a young uni student. But at the end of the day, success comes down to just lots of freaking hard work and passion over a really, really long time. Like, Dreamfit took 5 years before I started drawing a salary out. The end of my 5th year, my salary when I worked out by hours was $1.97 an hour as a qualified engineer in a mining boom. Like, high school students working at McDonald's were earning 4 times the amount as I was. So I had to persist. But after a while, it kind of took off. But it's not easy. So that's just a message to relay to these high school kids. It's not an easy ride. If they know it, that's a hard ride, and they're willing to stick it out. They're the ones we want to go into this kind of world. But don't let them be on this false pretenses that it's an amazing, easy world because you see these overnight successes. So that's the resilience kind of part of it. For you guys that are not entrepreneurs in the world, and you do get that young entrepreneurial kid come up to you and go, I'm thinking about going down this path, what on earth do you tell them? I don't know, I was struggling to think about that too, but I think the first thing is, don't shut them down. Like, the world needs more entrepreneurs, more leaders, more people willing to challenge the status quo, more people willing to change our world and make things better. Tell them to get on Google and Google stuff, how to be an entrepreneur, how to set up a business, all this. There's so much stuff out there, so many videos. That's the first thing they can do in terms of action, is just start teaching themselves this sort of stuff. Like everything. I taught myself how to recycle plastic just by using Google and YouTube and making phone calls and stuff. Like, I didn't go to a plastics degree or anything. There's so much out there. We're in a really fortunate time that they can get all the information they ever need, sitting on their couch at home for free. I did a lot of my research sitting on the couch on my iPhone, learning how to recycle plastic, so they can do it. The next thing is, like, actually having that problem that they care enough. Like, make them think, is this something that if you're still trying to tackle 10 years on, do you still care enough to be still working on that? Or is it something you only care enough to work on for 3 weeks? Because that's all you care about it. You need to find something that's a bit more meaningful too, because it takes a long time to do this sort of stuff. Get them to get involved in the Bloom community. You had to talk to the Space Cube this morning. We have like Facebook groups and all sorts of stuff, events. Get them to like our Facebook page and just follow what we do. We have free events and guest speakers and all that sort of stuff. Get embraced, get around other young entrepreneurs. And then there's a whole heap of like hackathons and competitions and courses and programs and $20 bosses and all sorts of programs out there. Just get involved in that, the networks, and just being around other like-minded, go-getting young kind of entrepreneurial people. They will support each other on this journey. And then finally, of course, once they get out of high school, tell them to come join Bloom. Got to add that in. And we can help them kind of beyond that sort of high school kind of phase. And just finally, be nice to your young entrepreneurs. You could be working for them in a couple of years' time. Think about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. He was just 19 when he started Facebook. 19. What were you guys doing when you were 19? So that's my final little slide to hopefully give you a bit of insight into how to support young entrepreneurs. And without further ado, if you've got any questions, I'd love to have a discussion with you about this.
Any questions for Darren?
Yeah. 33. So that 2050 is 33 years away from now, which is the plastic fish thing, and I have a 1-year-old daughter. So in my relatively youthful lifetime, we're going to have more plastics in our ocean and fish, which is absolutely disgusting. Yeah. There are some young people doing amazing things, but thank you for the compliment, I guess.
Other questions?
You
Yes.
do guest presentations with students at schools?
Yes, I do. I do a lot of work with schools. I'm involved in tech trails, where we go out talking about STEM and all that sort of stuff. I do a thing called Finding Your Purpose, which I kind of go through my journey about finding problem, finding solution, getting people involved. and talking to them about the recycling thing as well. Part of the recycling thing for me is getting lots and lots of people involved in this. So I now have about 3,000 high school students that have signed a petition, have committed to not using disposable water bottles and that sort of stuff. So young people really care about this sort of stuff. So yes, will do talks at schools, and it's both my recycling hat, trying to get schools involved in recycling, as well as with my Bloom hat, trying to support and find those young entrepreneurs hiding out in the audience. If you find us on darren@bloom.org.au, you'll get me.
I've got one. So we here today to learn about sort of the different skills that young people are going to need to go into certain career paths. Other than resilience, what are some skills that are important to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah. To become an entrepreneur, there's probably, it helps if you've got some sort of technical skill in some sort of field, but like engineering, whatever it is, like get them doing some sort of steps. It's always good. You're always going to have a job if you get involved in STEM. But outside of that, problem solving, it's always soft skills, like problem solving, teamwork, being able to communicate, basic numeracy skills around doing budgets, like money in minus money out equals money left over, like real simple stuff like that. But the ability to communicate, like if you want to start a business, you need to get people kind of following you in a way. If you can't get up and stand with a microphone in your hand and talk to people, you're not going to be successful. So little things like that, work on their presentation skills. When you're working in teams, you can't do much on your own. So being able to work in a team is absolutely critical. That's the sort of stuff like, with Dreamfit, we had 250 engineering students every semester working on projects, and we did that for like 13 years. So did a lot of recruitment. And whether you're being an entrepreneur, a project manager, whatever, I stopped looking at academic transcripts probably 2 or 3 years into that, because there was no correlation between their academic grades and their ability to do an amazing project for a person with disability. If anything, if someone was so proud of their grades and they came through with 99.9, I put in the bin. I didn't want them on the team, because they quite often didn't have the other skills around. So our recruitment literally was, does anyone remember the TV show Minute to Win It? Yeah, it's like you basically got a minute to play a silly little game. Our recruitment became an information session at Dreamfit, talk about what we did, and then we'll just put on beers and pizzas and run minute to win it games. It's just a bit of fun. Then me and the manager would just step back and watch how people interact with each other, and we could pick the high performing students just from seeing how they interact in that game environment. And so at the end of the day, the skills were not about those academic things. They mattered nothing in this world of entrepreneurship. And I almost flunked English, I had to go do English as a second language to get into university. And it really hasn't impacted my ability to run a business.
It's not so much a question but a comment when I've been dealing with entrepreneurs is that the younger ones is that they're more wanting to focus on getting their startup happening but avoiding the fact that maybe just getting a part-time job is also going to help them on that journey. And sometimes it's just difficult to get them out of that, well, I just want to create something to, well, yes, but get a job in the meantime or get something going as well. So it's more of a comment from my experience.
Well, I can kind of add to that. When I started Dreamfit, I got a part-time job in a machine shop. They gave me access to machinists and machinery. That I then struck up a deal, the entrepreneur in me. I worked for this guy kind of 9 to 5 during the day. After hours, I got to use the machinery for working on my own projects. Get them thinking about tangible part-time jobs that actually help them. So now, I've come out of that world and I'm now doing Green Badge. I've gone and got a part-time job at Bloom. I'm Bloom 3 days a week. Now that's fantastic because I'm getting invited to talk to investors and accountants and lawyers and entrepreneurial kind of things. That's building my networks at the same time. So do things that actually get you to where you go. Don't see it as a distraction. See it as a tool to get somewhere. So encourage your kids to do that, but find a great job that helps them. And if it's something they're interested in, they'll work hard and be better employees in that space anyway. So yeah, absolutely. And then you get money to put, Bloom is paying for all the back end of building Green Badge. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, support you in that.
Any other questions? Was there ever a point where you thought, no, I can't do this anymore, where you was just so close to giving up, and what changed, what kept you going?
Yeah, all the time. the whole 13 years there was moments. Like, entrepreneurship is like a roller coaster. Like, and even beyond that green bash, like there's days that are just freaking awesome. Like, you're winning, you're getting deals, whatever, and you're like just on the best drug ever. And then you get like rejections and whatever, and it's just crashing down, things aren't working, people are giving you headaches, whatever, and it's like, why the hell am I doing this to myself? Why don't I get a real job? My mum was right. So yeah, you do have those up and downs completely. But that's why you've got to have those resilience to ride it out, and that is the journey of an entrepreneur. I don't know any entrepreneur that's ever just gone perfectly, everything's right. Like, I don't know who those guys are. It is a rocky cut road. For me, the thing that's kept me going all this time, like that guy Shane who was in the car park in the motorbike, I had a great big picture of him in my office. So every day I walked to my office, I saw him and his face, and it reminded me why I was doing what I was doing. It's about that purpose and heart. Like now, the plastics thing, I think about my daughter. She's one. That's the legacy we're leaving, more plastics in the ocean. So I now have a picture of my daughter, and that's what keeps me going. Like, and I get emotional just thinking about it. Like, I don't want to quit on that. Like, how do you quit on something that you care so much about?
I think we'll wrap that up. Okay, go.
Darren, I've sort of had the pleasure of meeting you 15 years ago and watching you over the years, and every now and again I'm in a space and you're presenting, and it's just marvellous to be able to be in the room and see you at this point in journey and time, and really look forward to supporting and seeing the amazing outcomes that will come from your next project. Okay, so it's a wonderful time to I guess to have people like you located in Perth, because so many of our bright and like-minded ideas tend to leave, and so it's just congrats to you and many thanks, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see
Thank
where
you.
you are.
Support it, like not just with our young guys, like it's freaking hard. Like it takes balls to like not go get a real job and pursue something that's important. Like we make it hard for them. Like we should be like opening doors and like supporting, propping up. Like I said, it's our guys at Bloom. Like it's freaking hard. Like trying to get funding for your things. You don't have the experiences. All the naysayers in the world. Like we should be encouraging these guys who are willing to take a gamble. Like I know how hard it is. Even being older, like if you see these guys come through, like let's encourage the hell out of them. Like, give them that kudos and that respect for having the courage to pursue something that's important in this world. Because not many people do it. Like if 1 out of 100 did it, our world would be such an incredible place. Like imagine if every 100th engineering student was setting up a charity like we did, helping 10,000 people in our local community. How different our world would be. Like so, yeah. Find those little seeds and water them and bloom them into their flowers that they can be.